AsSalamu Alaykoum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu Alaikum, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, you guys are all doing well. Tonight is the 23rd of the holy month of Ramadan. It is the last night of Laylatul Qadr. Make sure you guys are taking it very, very seriously. A few nights ago was the death of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, Asadullah al-Alim alayhi salam. As we mourn the death of Amir al-Mu'mineen, we also want to get better in the holy month of Ramadan. We want to do the best as we possibly can. عظم الله لكم الأجر باستشهاد أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب أمير أسد الله الغالب عليه السلام. It was the 19th of the holy month of Ramadan. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, just like usual, was going to pray Salat al-Fajr. When he was going to pray, just like usual, he went to go in adhan. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Amir al-Mu'mineen obviously finished the adhan. Most sources state it was a very, very special adhan. It was the last adhan of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. After that, Amir al-Mu'mineen, just like usual, began praying Salat al-Fajr. When he was praying Salat al-Fajr, sources state he went into the state of sujood. He did not know it was going to be the last sujood of his life. When he was in sujood, Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam la'natullah alayh hit him with a sword. My brothers and sisters, according to most sources, they say Abdul Rahman bought the most expensive sword he could possibly find. They state the sword was 1,000 gold coins. They state the poison in which he put on the sword was also 1,000 gold coins. My brothers and sisters, the most sad part is Abdul Rahman was a slave. Amir al-Mu'mineen bought him. After he bought him, he decided to free him. After he freed him, he decided to give him money to start his own business. More than that, Amir al-Mu'mineen and Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam even fought in wars together. They fought in Siffin together. They fought in a lot of wars together, even Hunayn. After that, Al-Hasan wal-Hussein came to Amir al-Mu'mineen. When they came to Amir al-Mu'mineen, they saw him wounded on the floor. They became very sad. Imam al-Hasan was told by Amir al-Mu'mineen to Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam with the same blow. If Abdul Rahman dies, then he dies. If he does not die, then he is free to walk. When they had Abdul Rahman as a prisoner, they made sure that they fed him. They made sure that his thirst was quenched. On the 21st of the holy month of Ramadan, Amir al-Mu'mineen died by poisoning. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah al-aliyyul azim. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والسيد المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبا قاسم محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
I begin in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, the one who has created everything in utmost perfection. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I first want to start off by saying, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your deeds, the deeds that you are committing in this holy month. Like we've been saying, the most important thing in this holy month is getting better. After that, of course, is getting as close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you possibly can. And that is by doing deeds such as fasting every single day, such as prayer, such as reading dua, such as reading Quran, my brothers and sisters. So make sure, even though the holy month of Ramadan is coming to an end, that does not mean that we stop doing these actions. Make sure you're continuing to do these actions. These daily actions that you're committing, make sure you're doing them. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين صدق الله العلي العظيم. My brothers and sisters, this is Surah Al-Kafirun. It talks, as we know, it's in the name, the Kafirun, those who do not believe in God. We spoke about the Kafirun very early in the holy month of Ramadan, about those who are arrogant, those who when they know the truth, وقت بيعرفوا شو صح إسا بيقولوا لا هذا الشغلة مش صح. They say no, this is wrong. This happens very, very often today. They know something is correct and they disregard it. Like today, for example, an atheist, he says no, 100% there's no God. الكافر اليوم بيقول 100% ما في الله سبحانه وتعالى. There's no God. How do they know this? كيف بيعرفوا هذا الشكل? If they do not want to believe in God, that is fine, my brothers and sisters. But in the back of your mind, isn't there always that thought that there might be a God? There's somebody who must have put this earth together. There's no way it could have just formed by itself. This perfectly, this beautifully, it just formed by itself. They don't have maybe that 5% chance that there's a God that exists. They go 100% chance right away that no, there's no God. This is wrong, my brothers and sisters. Being a kafir alone, that is wrong. But if you're being a kafir and you're being one that is arrogant, that is the worst. One who's arrogant, what we mean by that is to the point where he says he doesn't even accept the truth when it's right in front of him. Atheist, he's so ignorant, he's so full of the fact. Of course, we're not talking about all atheists. We're talking about some atheists. There's some that are so ignorant to the fact where they say, no, there is no Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no God. There's some that leave room. They say there might be a God, but as of now, I don't want to believe in a God. There's those who say, no, there is no God, and even if you come with hard proof, and you give them something that proves that there is a God, they say, no, there's no God. This is when you're being arrogant and you're being a kafir at the same time. This is very wrong. I remember we spoke about two types of arrogant people. One who's arrogant to the point where he just disregards the truth even when there's evidence right in front of him, and there's one who thinks he's better than other people. Who when somebody wants to talk to him, no, you can't talk to me right now. Why? Because I'm busy, I'm doing something, and he's not really doing anything. He's just trying to be better than the other person. He doesn't want to waste their time, quote unquote, with the other person. The type of arrogancy we're going to look at today is one who disregards the truth even when it's right in front of him. Even when it's right in front of him, he says, no, this is not right. No, this is not right. This is very wrong. The reason for that is because atheists today, they're not only affecting themselves. They're also affecting people around them. When you see somebody that's being an atheist, just like anything else, وقت بتشوف حدا عم بيعمل شغلة أنت بتصير بدك تعمل هذا الشغلة. When you see somebody doing something, you want to start doing it. That's for some people, of course. That's sometimes when you see somebody doing this, oh, this thing looks fun, this thing looks cool, let me go do it. So when there's an atheist and he's disbelieving in God and he says, oh, my life is so easy, quote unquote, I don't have any religious duties, I don't have any religious deeds, it encourages others to also do. So he's dragging people down with him. The other thing is, when for some atheists, they're very, very arrogant. And like we've been saying, some, we're not saying all of them. This is all types of people. There's some that are arrogant, there's some that are not. There are some types of atheists that are very arrogant. Their beliefs that there is no God 100% just can't make sense because they have not checked every inch of this universe for them to say there is no God. Because once they say there is no God, it just looks like they're making up stuff, which are because they have not checked every inch of this universe. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد
وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. تاني على حب أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعجل فرجه. ثالث على حب إمام حسن المجتبى عليه السلام.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعجل فرجه. So when you see somebody doing an action, you get encouraged. I'm here today to tell you, my brothers and sisters, for those that could quite possibly be watching this and they believe in that there is no God, or they believed in that there was no God, I'm going to prove today why this makes no sense. And even if this turns out to be correct, why you should not take the risk in the dunya to believe in no God. The first thing is it's unlogical. For you to believe in that there's no God, who put this universe together? There's no evidence that there is no God. Because when you ask them, oh, how did the universe get put together? What do they say? The Big Bang. They say, think of science. This is the first reason. The second reason is if you believed in a God in the dunya, and there turns out to be no God, what happens? Nothing's going to happen to you. You're not going to lose anything. Nothing's going to happen to you. As a fi Allah, وبالدنيا انت قلت في Allah. وبالآخرة في Allah. Is anything going to happen? You're going to win, my brothers and sisters. Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam, he was talking to a kafir. He told the kafir was so built on the fact that there is no God. There is no God. What did Imam as-Sadiq tell him? Imam as-Sadiq told him, if there is no God, you have benefited nothing, I have benefited nothing. In the dunya and in the akhirah. You've benefited nothing, I've benefited nothing. If there turns out to be a God, what happens? What happens if there turns out to be a God? Which Imam as-Sadiq said, if there turns out to be a God, which there is a God, I've won and you've lost. I've won in the dunya, I've won in the akhirah. You're not missing out on anything by believing in a God. If you're believing in a God and there turns out to be no God, you've lost nothing. If there turns out to be a God and you believe in no God, that's a problem, my brothers and sisters. For those today that follow a religion, make sure your faith stays intact. Make sure you're not getting brainwashed today by the people that are saying, oh, there's no God. For those that are saying that there's more than one God. For those that are saying stuff that are unlogical. Because, my brothers and sisters, once you believe in one religion, it's very, very hard to stop believing in it. Right now, today, I'm a Muslim. If somebody comes and tells me stop being a Muslim, I'm not going to stop being a Muslim because I've gotten used to it my entire life and it's the most logical religion to me. But let's say, for example, a very, very small chance if I stop being a Muslim, let's say I stop being a Muslim, what happens? And I go to another religion, if I try going back to being a Muslim, it might not work. Make sure everything you're doing today, make sure your deen is safe. The most important thing is making sure your deen is safe. Let's say your mom tells you, no, you can't be a Muslim. Let's say your dad tells you, no, you can't be a Muslim. What do you got to do at that point? And you know Islam is the correct religion, and they tell you, no, you can't be a Muslim. Do you go with them and say, yes, you guys are correct? Or do you say, no, this is incorrect? You have to tell them, no, this is incorrect. Try speaking to them. If they tell you, no, we don't want to listen to you, this is blasphemous, let's say, no, these are incorrect words, these words, you're confused, let's say something like that. Tell her, no, I'm not confused. Tell him, no, I'm not confused. This is the religion I decided to follow. It is the most logical religion today, in my opinion. And if that means you have to abandon your family, then you have to abandon your family. If this means you can't live in that house with your family, that means you can't live in the house. Religion is more important than the dunya. Religion is more important than your family. We've been saying this. Religion is the most important thing. Anything that happens, make sure your deen is safe. Fi salamatin min dini. Anything that occurs, is my deen going to be safe after this? But like we've been saying, if you have an argument with your parents about you can't follow this religion, you can't follow this religion, try talking with them first. If talking doesn't work, then you got to take actions into your own hands. Something I really hope that people start to do is letting their children decide their own what do they want to follow, what they think is the most logical religion. Due to the fact that if the child himself picks his own religion, what's going to happen? The child himself, if he picks his religion, he's going to want to follow this religion. But if the child is forced into a religion, let's say today there's a lot of Muslims today, they're forced into Islam. What happens? They don't want to pray. They don't want to fast. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. If you let them choose their own religion, if you see them on the wrong path, you take them and you start guiding them. But if you're 100% sure that you're teaching them correctly, don't let them choose their religion. Today, if you force somebody into something, they're not going to want to do it. And it's with anything, not only religion. If you force somebody into doing this thingy and he does not enjoy it, he's going to do it for a week or two. Then he's going to grow sick of it. He's going to say, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Move away. I don't want to do it. The same thing is with religion. But religion, there's something different about it. Religion is going to affect your dunya and your akhirah. First reason, in the dunya, let's say you're confused what religion you want to follow after you've been following Islam for 10 years. كنت مسلم 10 سنين. Once, let's say you say, I don't want to become a Muslim anymore, you go become a Christian, you're going to be confused. There's going to be that period of time where you're not following any religion. You're going to say, what religion should I follow? You're going to be confused in the dunya, and it's going to affect you so much in the akhirah. Abandoning a religion is going to affect you so much, my brothers and sisters. Make sure your faith is staying intact. Anything that occurs, make sure it's staying intact. Religion is more important than anything in this dunya. Religion is going to make up your akhirah. And if you follow religion correctly, if you follow religion like the Prophet taught us, like Rasulullah Muhammad allamna, your dunya is going to be beautiful, your akhirah is going to be beautiful. It's very easy. Just teach the way the Prophet taught. Teach your children the way the Prophet taught. Live the way the Prophet lived. Today in the community, let's say, for example, when somebody goes and eats, keep in mind the Prophet, when he used to eat, he used to maybe have 2 things. Before Imam Ali alayhi salam died, they say that Zainab put 3 plates on the table for him. 3 plates, my brothers and sisters. Some sources state it was laban, tamar, and salt. 3 things. Today, if you put 7 things, people tell you, why did you put enough? Live in the way the Prophet lived. Get used to things you don't like doing. Humble yourself. Don't take everything for granted, because once you take everything for granted, it's going to be very hard to become humble again. It's going to be very hard to appreciate the things you have today. Today, if somebody puts 7, 8 types of different food on the table, they're looked at, they put too little. If you put maybe 2, 3 different types of food on the table, people are going to look at you like, why is he not putting more food? We got to get used to the fact that we got to start living how the Prophet lived, how Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam lived. Even if there's 7, 8 different types of food on the table, do not eat from every single type of food. Eat from maybe 2, 3. And don't always eat your favorite food, because once you eat your favorite food, it's very hard to start eating foods you don't like. Eat more of the foods you don't like. Get used to the fact that I gotta start eating more foods that I don't like. Because once you start eating more foods that you don't like, what happens? Anything you eat, let's say right now people are very scared during this virus, we're gonna run out of food. Anything that is given to you, you can eat it. You don't want to be picky. You don't want to be known as a picky eater. Become humble. Humble yourself. This dunya, you got to become humble. That is so you don't get dragged down in this dunya. Like we've been saying today in the community especially. Living in the community today is one of the hardest things you can do. One of the hardest things you can do. Children that are, for us, let's say me for example, I'm 15 years old. Children today my age, they're doing different things. They're not using their time wisely. They're smoking. They're doing bad in school. They want to play. They want to do this. They want to do that all day. But when you tell them become serious for 5 minutes, they can't become serious for 5 minutes. When there's a matter that needs to be looked at very, very seriously, they take in a joking manner. Why is this? Why is this happening today? This is happening today because nobody wants to take anything seriously. They always want to take everything as a game. And we're not saying all of the fault is on the parents, but the parents gotta teach them better. When the parents are just laying back all day and saying, no, we don't care about what our children are doing, what our children do, the children are going to begin to take advantage of that. The child walks in at 1 o'clock, the child walks in at 2 o'clock in the morning. His parents are not there to punish him, his parents are not there to give him a consequence for his actions. He's going to continue to do it. And once he continues to do it, he's going to start experimenting. Let's say at first he was coming in late at 2 o'clock. Now he's going to start going places without even asking his parents. He's going to start doing this without asking his parents. There's going to be nights he does not come. He's going to start experimenting. Let's see where I can go to when they will finally start talking, where they will finally start telling me, don't do this, don't do that. This is happening in the community today. And it's not only affecting the children. Once it affects one child, it affects that group of friends, let's say, for example. It affects some of them, our brothers and sisters. That's why today, when there's kids smoking, you always tell your children stay away from the kids that are smoking. Why? Because they will peer pressure them. They will tell them, oh, you want to become cool? Smoke this one, smoke this. They will peer pressure them. And once they're encouraged to do one thing by their friends, like let's say the 15, 14-year-olds today, they say, oh, when I smoke, I feel so good. I lose stress. I'm not as stressed anymore. They trusted their friend once, correct? They trusted them. It turned out amazing. Next, the friend is going to start telling them to do this, do that. Eventually, it might come to the point where he tells them, forget about your deen completely. Forget about your deen. There's no reason for you to be a Muslim anymore. There's no reason for you to even follow our religion anymore. It's unlogical. He trusted his friend from earlier. His friend was telling him do this. His friend was telling him do that. He trusted him and it worked out. What is he going to do? He's going to trust him again. He's going to be so brainwashed on the fact that whatever my friend tells me, it turns out correct. It turns out right. This is very wrong, my brothers and sisters. If you have a child that is in a group of friends, if you have a child that talks with people that do actions that are bad, and eventually they become like them, do not be surprised. It's very, very easy to brainwash a 14, 15-year-old today. Very easy. There's so much people in history today, even in the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that were brainwashed. Talha, Zubair, they were brainwashed. So much people were brainwashed, it's very, very easy. And today there's nobody to guide them. Of course, we have the Quran today to guide them. There's nobody during the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen. There was him, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, Imam al-Hussein. They had people to guide them and they were still getting brainwashed. Today there's nobody to guide them. Today the parents have to be that guidance. Today you gotta let them read the Quran. You gotta make sure that they're understanding it so they can input what the Quran says into their daily life. As we know, my brothers and sisters, اليوم آخر ليلة ليلة القدر. Today is the last night of Laylat al-Qadr. What did we say the first day we talked about Laylat al-Qadr? It is the night of destiny. Take advantage of these coming nights. Today is the last night. You've had, some people do it 6 days. Some only do 1, 2, and 3. Some do 6 days, my brothers and sisters. For those that do 6 days, Allah may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them endlessly. And for those that only do it 3 days, it's fine. But make sure in those 3 days you're putting in that extra time. Make sure in those 3 days you're reading as much Quran as possible. Tonight is the last night. Take advantage of this last night. Some people, they only listen to Dua al-Jawshan and Kabir and they listen to the 3 surahs they read after. Of course, that is good. But after, try praying a little. After, try reading Quran a little. Try getting as close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you possibly can. Today is the last day of Laylat al-Qadr. You're going to have to wait till next year. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر صدق الله العلي العظيم. The only thing in this dunya you can ever trust is the words that are written in the Quran. That is one thing 100% you can trust. When somebody tries saying no, whatever's in the Quran is wrong, you tell them no. This book is written by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, 100% it is correct. In the Holy Quran, Laylatul Qadr, it talks about Laylatul Qadr in Surah Al-Qadr. Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. The deeds you commit during this night are deeds of 1,000 months. 1,000 months, I don't know how much years that is. It's 40 years plus. Minimum, it's 40 years. The deeds you are committing during these times are at least 1,000 months, my brothers and sisters. These nights are the nights of destiny. These nights are the nights that are going to decide. They can decide whether you're going to heaven, whether you're going to hell. With how much you're getting rewarded, especially during the holy month of Ramadan, with how much you're getting rewarded, and you're getting that extra reward during Laylatul Qadr, the reward is multiplied by thousands during this holy month. Take advantage of it. And like it says in the holy surah, try staying up till Salat al-Fajr, my brothers and sisters. Pray Salat al-Fajr, then go to sleep. If you can't, then it's fine, but minimum, at least you try waking up for Salat al-Fajr. Salat al-Fajr is very, very important. It's wajib, remember that. People overlook Salat al-Fajr, why? Because it's 2 rak'at. They say, no, my brother, Salat al-Fajr is only 2 rak'at, it's not going to affect me that much. My brothers and sisters, you get such a huge reward for Salat al-Fajr, especially when you get up in the morning. When you're very tired and you say, you know what, let me get up. Forget it, I'm going to get up. So try your best, my brothers and sisters, during these holy nights, to stay up till Salat al-Fajr. To pray Salat al-Fajr, then go to sleep. And of course, while you're waiting for the time of Salat al-Fajr to come, make sure you're praying. Make sure you're reading Quran. Make sure you're reading dua. Make sure you're doing as much as you possibly can to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my brothers and sisters. As we know, tonight is the 23rd of the holy month of Ramadan. Only 7 days left, my brothers and sisters, until we have to wait till next year for the holy month of Ramadan to come around again. Today is Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be the last day. Take advantage of these last 7 days. Take advantage of them. Read Quran as much as you can. Read dua. Pray as much as you can. But like we've been saying this since the first day. Do not overdo yourself. Do not do it to the fact where you're tiring yourself out. Do not do it to the fact where you're putting pressure on yourself. Because once you're putting pressure on yourself, you're going to think Islam is a forceful religion. Islam tells you to do this. Islam tells you to do that. No, Islam is trying to ease your life. It's not trying to make your life harder, my brothers and sisters. But like we've been saying, in these coming nights, use these nights wisely. It's only 7 more nights, and then you guys can go back to what you were doing. 7 more nights, you can go back to what you were doing. Right now, when you think about, oh, let me go do this and avoid Laylatul Qadr, do not do it. Do not do it because Laylatul Qadr only comes once a year. The time period only comes once a year. You can do anything else every single day of the year. You want to play games, you can do that every single day. You want to do this, you can do that you want to do that, you can do it every single day. Laylatul Qadr only comes during this one period, during this one time or year. So take advantage of it. Take advantage. Try praying Salat al-Tawbah, my brothers and sisters. It's very, very rewarding. They call it Salat Amir al-Mu'mineen. They say in the first rak'ah, say Surah al-Fatiha 1 time, and say Surah al-Ikhlas 50 times. Stay in the second rak'ah, do the same. And then do it once more. So total you should be saying Surah al-Hamid 4 times, and Surah al-Ikhlas 200 times. It's very, very rewarding, my brothers and sisters. It's going to take a maximum 40-45 minutes. But the reward you're going to be getting from it, how close you're going to feel to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after you do it, is going to be unreal, my brothers and sisters. Make sure during these nights you're maximizing the benefit. We've been saying it since the first of the holy month of Ramadan. What did we say on the first? We said before you know it, it's going to be the last day of Ramadan. Before you know it, you're going to say, Ya Ret عملت Ya Ret عملت Ya Ret صليت أكتر Ya Ret قريت قرآن أكتر. There's no reason for us to look back and say, oh, I wish I did this. There's no reason for when we go into the akhirah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you did this action, you would have been higher in heaven. There's no reason for us to want to look back. In the dunya, do as much as you can. There's so much ruwiyat that when you go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're going to ask him, no, put me on the earth one more time and I'll become the best servant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to give anybody a second chance. You get one chance, my brothers and sisters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you free will. What you decide to do with it, that's your choice. That is your choice. It's either you're going to get rewarded or you're going to get punished. But in this month, especially this month, you should not want to do bad deeds. You should not want to do deeds that will get you punished. It's so easy to get rewarded in this holy month. We said on the first day, let's say the first 15 days of the holy month of Ramadan, you were praying, you were reading Quran. The last 15 days, that's not good. Of course, it's important how you enter the holy month of Ramadan. Very, very important. What's more important is how you leave the holy month of Ramadan. Are you going to leave the holy month still praying? Are you going to leave the holy month still reading Quran? Are you going to leave the holy month still reading dua? If not, you claimed your reward for the holy month of Ramadan. But by the sins you will be accumulating by not praying, by the sins you will be accumulating by not reading Quran, by not reading dua, the reward that you got in the holy month of Ramadan, it's gone. It's gone. Do not let this month, where so much people pray during this holy month, where so much people fast during this holy month, but then they burn that reward by in the coming months they don't do anything. That's not good, my brothers and sisters. I don't even want to say that's wrong because some people do this. It's not good. It's not good for yourself. Getting used to something for so long and then stopping it. Like we've been saying, tonight is the last night of Laylatul Qadr. Take advantage of it. Do not waste your time. It's going to be for 5-6 hours, and then that's it. You're done. Take your time praying. Take your time reading the Quran. Have khushu' in your prayer. Pray as if it's your last prayer. Try getting as close with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you possibly can. It's the last night. Why wait till next year when we can do as much as we possibly can this year? آخر دعوانا and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. My brothers and sisters, in this holy month, get as close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you possibly can. Maximize the benefit. Read as much Quran as you possibly can. Do as much ibadah as you possibly can. Don't do ibadah to the point where you're burning yourself out. That's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked of us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not asked of us to worship Him 24/7. But al-alila, do the wajib acts. Al-alila, try Quran. Al-alila, da'i lirabbak. At minimum, pray. The wajib. At minimum, pray wajib prayers. At minimum, read Quran at least once a day. At minimum, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at least once a day. Get used to the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mawjood. Get used to the fact that anywhere I turn, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there. Anything that I need, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help me. When I want something, when I'm in need of something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there. I just gotta ask Him, I got to pray to Him, and inshallah He will answer my dua. This is not wrong, my brothers and sisters. People think of it, when you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something, what I'm telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something, Inta Muslim, نعم بدك شيء من الله سبحانه وتعالى. أنت عم بتصلي اليوم نعم بدك شيء. No. بدي أعود حالي الله سبحانه وتعالى موجود. I want to get myself used to the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me in everything I do. So what do? I pray to Him as often as I possibly can, and I ask Him for things as often as I possibly can. It's not for the fact that, I'm only Muslim, I only pray because I want to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for things. That's not correct. You ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for things once your relationship begins to get better. And that is normal. Today, let's say you've known somebody for one day. Are you going to ask them for $100 the first day? No, but if you've known them for 6-7 years, it's going to be normal. Once your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes strong, it won't be scary for you to ask. You won't be embarrassed to ask it, even in front of the people. Somebody tells you, why are you asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something? He's our Lord, and I want to get used to the fact that He's here. Like we've been saying, maximize the benefit of this holy month. Get as close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you possibly can. Only 7 more days left of the holy month of Ramadan. Do as much ibadah as you possibly can. نقرأ آية الكريمة 10 مرات.
أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء.
أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء أمن يجيب
المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء
أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء أمن يجيب
المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء
أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعا ويكشف السوء يا الله 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 نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يبعد عنا هذا البلاء يبعد عنا هذا الوباء. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure us of this virus. My brothers and sisters, raise your hands in prayer when we're asking for this, when we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, when we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure us of this virus. Like we've been saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at any chance, at any time can cure this virus if He wanted to. This might mean that this could quite possibly be a test to see who's going to abandon religion and to see who's going to stay with the religion and see who's going to get closer to the religion. Do not be of those who are moving away from the religion. Do not be those who are getting close to the religion. And if you don't want to get closer to your religion, do what you were doing even before the virus started. If you were praying, if you were doing at least at minimum the wajib acts before the virus started, continue doing these wajib acts. People are saying no, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to cure it, He would have cured it. It could be a test, my brothers and sisters. And when somebody says this and then he forgets his religion, it encourages others. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates stuff that encourage others, such as fleeing the battlefield. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates this. Because once one flees the battlefield, everybody is going to think it's fine to flee the battlefield. Do not encourage acts that can affect other people. And like we've been saying, get as close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you can in this holy month. Do not forget your deen. Make sure your faith is staying intact. Make sure your deen is staying intact. And like we've been saying, the most important thing, the very most important thing, كل شيء بتعمله بالحياة صار حالك في سلامة من دين. If I do this action, will my deen stay intact? If it will stay intact, continue doing this action. If your action that you're going to commit is going to affect your deen, do not commit this action. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
ثاني على حب أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام.
الله